Been doing so much sewing and plugging along and just plowing through so many projects. And so today I thought it was the perfect day to slow down and just do some chill, easy projects, take them slowly and enjoy the day. It is like a billion degrees, so we're just gonna take it as it comes and not work up a sweat. And we're gonna try to go through some of my fabric stash, particularly my thrifted tablecloths. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so first up, I'm thinking this beautiful vintage, I believe it's a tablecloth. It's got these lovely, like painted looking flowers. It's mostly white with this beautiful, like baby blue trim. So cute. And for this one, I've had this for a long time, and I just, again, like as with a lot of this stuff, have just been waiting for the skills to be able to tackle something like this without ruining it. But anyway, this one, I thought we could start super easy. Just cut a hole right in the middle for my head and see what happens. Because I'd love to preserve this full pattern and just keep the top, this whole piece, because it is so beautiful. It's got the border and everything. I don't want to cut it up and slice it and dice it. I want to keep it together if I can. So step one is to cut a hole big enough for my head, right down the middle. Easy. It is a little bit bigger than I thought. Okay, obviously the neck hole needs to be a little bit bigger, but I feel like it is kind of giving the vibe. So then I was thinking I would just connect the bottoms a few inches with just a straight stitch. So then this kind of feels like a sleeve more, less like a poncho. I don't know. All right, definitely need to cut a little bit more of a neck here. So let's just widen the neck a little bit and see how that looks. Okay, so I think it could be a little bit wider. So right now we're at 5 inches. So let's add 1 more inch on the width, and then we'll give it a little bit of depth. Okay, so here's where we left off. And then also remembering that when I put the bias tape around it, it's gonna lose probably a 1/2 inch. Okay, so now let's just cut this a little bit deeper. Okay, that's better. Okay, it feels more like a top now and not just like a random, I don't know, poncho. Okay, all right, this is, I think, a good width. So it's gonna be kind of at the end of the shoulders. That's kind of what you want. I think this could have just a tiny bit more dip on the front. And then we just sew the sides and add the bias tape around the neck. And hopefully that'll be looking top finished like. Okay, I actually changed my mind because like I said, when I add the bias tape, I'm gonna lose a little bit here. So I'm gonna actually leave it, I think. I think this will work. So we're just gonna have to add the bias tape to the front and back neck. But first I'm gonna do a straight stitch down here to see if I want it here or here or here. I'm not sure what's most comfortable. Okay, I'm actually gonna stay stitch this neckline before I do anything else, just to be safe of the neckline here. So just a quick little stay stitch to keep this fabric from moving as I deal with the rest. So probably like a 1/4 inch from the edge. Okay, so the stay stitch is down. Now we're gonna do the little stitch along the edge here. Okay, so I'm just kind of randomly doing this from like the middle of the arm to the end, I think. I'll just see if that's the look we're going for. nice right thread, so it's low stakes. Okay, so now we got kind of a closure. Okay, so that wasn't bad, but I think we can do better. So we're gonna try something different on the other side. And that would be to instead put the line here, straight up and down, kind of to show like a waist almost. So it's gonna be kind of through this bouquet of flowers. I'm gonna try to line it up and just, again, do like just a few inches and see how it looks. So I marked it with some pins. Can you even see right here? Okay, so I think both options work, but it seems like, it's hard to tell here. It seems like this one where it's the line here is giving more shape. Obviously this one didn't do a whole lot for the shape. So I think I'm gonna go with this one on both sides. So I'll take out this little guy down here. Again, I think both work. It just depends on what you're looking for in this. And I think that I like having just a little bit more shape, and it kind of gives it a place to fall better. I don't know if that makes sense. That's just how I'm feeling about it. So let's just do the same thing on this side now and then finish the collar. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so I repeated that stitch on the other side, and now I'm ready to add the bias binding. I'm gonna use this thicker one. I've never used one like this for this method before, but I'm gonna give it a try. So first thing is just to attach right sides together. So I've got my binding. Here's the fold. I'm gonna sew right in the fold line all the way around, right sides together. And I'm not gonna pin it down because that kind of makes it worse. So I'm just gonna do it as I go. And that's why this stay stitch is gonna be helpful. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn off the AC, but it's so hot. Yeah, so right sides together in the fold line, and then we'll see what's next. I'm just gonna hold it gently and precisely. Slowly. Okay, so I think for the next part, we're gonna fold. So here's where we attached. We're gonna fold this bias tape in half over this seam we just sewed, and then fold it over again so that it's behind the fabric. I hope you could see that. So here's what we have. Here's where we sewed it. We fold it in half over that line, and then fold it over again so it's tucked behind. I hope this works. I did pin the first couple inches this time just to get a good start on it. Okay, and with that, top number 1 is done. Yay. Took a little break, had a little snack, had a little rest, and now we're ready for round 2. So next up is another beautiful tablecloth, and this one I have been putting off for years. So today is the day we're gonna cut into this fabric if it kills me. So it is this beautiful yellow gingham with these like little, it's like a tea party situation at the bottom. I just love it. I love it. It's all the way around, so I think that I might be able to make 2 things. Through the years, I have dreamed up many a thing, a dress, a long vest, but lately I've been kind of getting a little more realistic and thinking that this would make a really cool, like long, like pinafore top kind of. And then I will have enough to do 2 things with it, I believe. Just because there wasn't really enough to make a full dress, and then I was thinking about the vest, and anyway, we ended up here. So hopefully this is what we end up with today. I'm gonna give it a try. But anyway, so we are going to attempt to use maybe the ruby top pattern or the June top pattern just to get a basic of the top, like bodice, and then I'm picturing it open after it hits like maybe like my ribs, I guess. You can't see my hands, but I'm thinking it'll be open the rest of the way. So I don't know if there'll be ties or buttons on the side or whatnot. Just trying to figure out how to make it a size that can fit over my head. I do like kind of a boat neck on these kinds of tops, so it needs to be able to open. I guess one possibility would be to have like a little bit of an opening in the back with a button. I've never done anything like that before. That could be fun to try. I don't know. So we're just gonna get this down, pull out my patterns that I have to see what we'll be using as a model, and then we'll just use the entire length so that it has, thinking we're gonna go this way. And then the bottom will be this pattern. So we'll just use the whole length from here, and then it'll hit below my hips, which I think should be good. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's just get into it. This one I'm trying to be a little more creative. The last one was pretty simple. I wanted to keep it simple, but this one I want to really get right because I've been dreaming about using it for so long. So one thought I had was maybe making it one piece instead of two pieces that get sewn together. Like the front and back, and there's just like a hole in the middle. So I was thinking about trying like I did with the last one where I just cut a hole in the middle and see what happens. So this time we're gonna cut here on the fold. I'm not sure if it needs a dart or not. I thought maybe that the back should be different, but lining these two up, it's almost the same. And without further ado, let's cut it. So at the end, we want a straight line here because I'm going to leave this flared out. Don't forget. I hope it's long enough to have the effect I'm looking for. No going back. Oh man, we're cutting it. It's being cut. It's happening. Okay, in theory, we have the makings of a top. Okay, so not a bad start. It's definitely not as long as I'd hoped, but that's okay. It happens. But I think it's gonna work, and I think I'm gonna do buttons. I feel like buttons would be cute on the sides, so like maybe 2 buttons, and then the rest is out. But I think I should add some darts just so there's no gaping up here when everything is pulled together. Okay, so I'm gonna add the darts here, I think, and then make some button plackets. And then I'll finish with the bias binding like I did with the previous top. Okay, so I took a little break, had some dinner, back at it. So I decided, what is this? What's my hair doing? Whatever. So I decided to do the dart up here instead so that it wouldn't mess with my button placket. So I just finished sewing the button placket and I sewed a stay stitch all around the rest of the arms and the neck at the same time. So all that's left is the bias binding and the buttonholes. Yeah, literally. So I'm gonna do bias around here, and then this is already finished. The bottom is already finished because it was already like a tablecloth. So we just need some buttonholes and some buttons on the side. So not too bad. Before I put the bias here, I have to remember to put the darts because I think it'll be too weird without the darts. But I think I'm gonna bias the neck first and then see how it's looking and then decide where the darts need to hang. Okay, this is coming along nicely. So the darts are in. So now I think I'm gonna do the buttonholes first and then do the bias tape. So I'm thinking 2 buttonholes, and I have this whole thing of orange buttons, but most of them don't match. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with this green one because I do have 4 of these, and I think it goes pretty closely with the green that's on here. Okay, we've officially lost the daylight, and I just got back from a walk and I'm so hot. So I'm just gonna sit on the couch and finish sewing on these 4 buttons, and that is the end. That's the end for this top. 2 tops, very nice, very easy, very slow. We'll do the wrap up tomorrow when it's a little, hopefully cooler and brighter, and I can put this on my body without sweating. And with that, my 2 tablecloth tops are finally complete. I've been holding on to both of these materials for literally years, and they ended up being such simple little jobs. They both came out so flowy and cute, and I'm so excited to wear these instead of seeing them in my stash this summer. So first, the blue painted flowery top, which I'm calling it. This one was so easy. I literally cut a hole, fixed the hole, and then put straight stitches on the sides. And it turned out so cute, so flowy, so whimsical. I feel very pretty in this. I'm not sure that it's fully me, but I definitely will be wearing it this summer. And if it indeed is not quite me, I will pass it along to somebody who will love it, I'm sure. Yeah, no notes about that one. That one is just perfect. It was so easy. I loved it. The second one was my yellow gingham picnic tablecloth top, and I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I like the color of the buttons as they match with the top. I like the shape of the top. The darts came out pretty good. Other than that, my only note is that I should have used facing for the button placket, and that would have probably made the buttonholes a little sturdier. They're kind of floppy. Also, the buttonhole the top one could be just a tiny bit higher because it feels like there's a little bit flopping around there. And then my only other thing is that it just wasn't as long as I thought. It didn't get the effect that I was quite looking for. So I haven't quite scratched the itch on this kind of top, and I'll have to make one very soon. Both of these tops go so well with my brand new pickle pants that I made in my last video. I've been loving these, and I'm so excited to have these 2 new awesome tops to wear with the pants. They match so well. They look like they were made for the pants, and they kind of were. So success on that front. I am just having so much fun making my own wardrobe and having this power of being able to wear and make and see whatever I want, whatever I envision. So it's just gonna keep getting more fun. I am so excited to have this me-made wardrobe. It brings me so much joy every day. So thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this inspired you to cut into some of those fabrics that you've been holding on to so dearly and just give it a cut and see what happens. The stakes are not really that high. So let me know down in the comments what you'll be upcycling this week, what you were inspired to get into, and I hope to see you in the next one. Maybe give me a like, maybe a subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when my next video comes. I'm Christina, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.